lot of bad knowledge shit I can't say. It's probably why I got put these problems in my damn
Boss
way.
for everything. Whoa, whoa, yes. Boss for everything. Ay, I swear to God, look at me. Boss for everything. Yeah. Boss for everything.
Yeah. I'm from the south side, Chicago, where they known the pop lit.
How can you find someone who can criticize your work consistently without just giving a simple comment like, oh man, that's cool, or yeah, dude, that's fire? How do you do that?
It's a great question. So like, and I've answered this question many times before. The thing is like finding that person. So there's one thing, like here's a couple things you could do. If you let your audience know, but there's problems, right? There's two different sides. You can let your audience know, hey, I love your feedback on everything that I do. Right? What this does is this will increase the amount of engagement that happens. They're going to comment on everything. They're going to expect to go. They're going to want to see everything that you do. They're not really going to skip it because like this guy cares about my opinion. That's if you create that community with your audience, right? Because that allows for this open, like I'm part of this. I get to have an opinion in it. But then there's the other side of it that becomes an issue because this happens with me too. Though I'm sensitive about my stuff, and I'm sure all you guys are too. I don't put it out there unless I think it's perfect, right? So what happens is when you start getting people thinking that they're allowed to have their opinion and their opinion is not professional, they'll start looking for things to say just to seem like they're educated and have an opinion. Like, you know, somebody will say something like, oh, I don't like this or this. I'm like, well, you just were looking for something to criticize because it is an open back and forth between us. So that's the thing, right? It's like, and I only say that because you asked, because you talk about just a basic, simple comment, which means that it looks like you're reaching for that information from people externally. You kind of need to let that just be what it is. And remember the two things, I tell you, but there's two different types of comments, right? Especially as far as haters go, there's people like, this sucks, right? That's not actually a comment that matters. It doesn't mean the thing actually sucks. It just means that that person usually just says that on everything. The other comment is, this sucks because, and then they say why it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the what you gotta pay attention to, right? Because if people keep saying that information, that's something you have to take into account. Like, your flow sucks. And then the other guy's like, you suck, your flow sucks. And then 50 people say your flow sucks, your flow probably sucks. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
Right, now when it comes to getting the information that you need, that's gonna excel you and make you better, it's gonna come from external sources like the comments, but that really won't happen in the amount that you need it to until you're already kind of moving, right? You know, of course you can run ads, and Exo's not in here right now, but if you run ads, you'll drive traffic, and you can even ask inside of the ad, like judge me, like make the button judge me, right? And I've tried that before. It doesn't convert as well as other ones do, but when the people come, they judge, right? You know what I'm saying? And so the best bet is you need to find somebody in your life that is overly honest with you and is a no bullshit person. But then the thing is too, is this, there's different types of people that give you feedback as well. You're gonna have people who have like I said, with the educated opinion. I don't want somebody who don't know shit about music telling me how my music should sound. Now, if you're one of the sheep, and I just say sheep meaning like you're just in the 95 percentile of people who just listen to music, it's very valuable for me to know whether or not you would like this as a bystanding opinion. Would like the general public like this because you're just like a la 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 la, I'm not in the industry, I don't know, but I know this sounds really good and I like this, I'd listen to this. That's a certain type of person. You need to find somebody who cares about music in a way that's like, they don't have to do music, but they care about it. And they're like, also like very upfront with you and they're gonna tell you. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, this is an extremely rare type of person, right? And when you find this person, it'll kind of be automatic because they're just gonna be like, you don't have to be showing them music. You'll kind of be able to tell from like the type of person they are, right? They'll come into your life and be like, nah, I don't think, blah, blah. Like they're just like blunt, no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then the best thing is to be on the same wavelength as that person. And this is what's beautiful. And I have this, and I feel very grateful and very blessed to have this, because if I didn't have it, like legit, the person's like my friend, but I said, I now pay the person to guarantee that I'm going to get that feedback because it's so valuable. Whenever the girls say, but she was going to be Post Malone's first manager, and she's also like in the industry and like that, but she is just like the same wavelength. Okay, so what I mean by that is, you ever listen to your song? Well, I know you guys have all done this. You listen to your song and you're like, I don't know if that's right. That feels wrong. I don't like that. And then you have another part where you're like, that bar's wrong. I don't like that bar. Or I don't like the delivery of that bar. But you don't know, but it seems right. And you're not really being lazy, but it feels like it still might be right because you've heard it 30 times. Then that person comes in, the right person comes in. You're on the same thought process. That bar is wrong, the flow's wrong there, and that's like that. You're like, I was thinking the same thing, but it's like that person is that person who'll do that. So that's the person you're looking for. You're on the same wavelength, you kind of think the same, and you know what the best thing is? If you find a person like that who you're in a relationship with, because then they're that's the type where you're like, oh, it's a power couple, because they're on the same wavelength of like wanting to be successful, and they're brutally honest with each other, and then that woman or the male, whoever you're with, or you know, whatever gender they want to consider themselves, they freaking are pushing you and being honest and brutally honest with with you about the decisions that you should make, and yes, I like this, and blah, blah, blah. But you have to be on the lookout for it. You have to be open to it. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can do. And also, there's another key thing here, and this took a long time for me. I want to say this to you guys so you don't make this mistake. The thing that took me the longest to find that person was also that I was so hypersensitive that I wasn't open to that person even existing, right? Like, I don't need your opinion, but you got to know that they exist. And when somebody's going to give you an opinion, you have to be open-minded. I was very closed-minded because I did not want my emotions to be hurt at all after I created this and I put my all in everything. But as soon as you're open-minded about it, then you start looking for those people. When that person comes in, you're going to understand, okay, cool, I can this person is going to give me feedback. I need to take it, and I need to, and then ask questions. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, the girl told me something about Kid Cudi lyrics. She's like, oh, she used to love Kid Cudi. She used to this, she used to that. She's like, well, like the lyrics, like these lyrics, like Heart of a Lion and thing. I'm like, that's like generic. Like, I would have thrown that away. And then for 30 minutes, she's trying to explain to me until I kind of understood. I'm like, oh. And I'm showing her some of these other lyrics that had like they're stupid, crazy fire. But then there's these other ones. It's like, no, it's like she couldn't explain it, but then we finally got it. And I'm like, now I understand why people like Kid Cudi. Couldn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I just could not understand it. But he's like, look how massive his fan base is. It's just like the lyrics with me because I needed people with like bars. And it's not necessarily bars, but you need somebody who's gonna like break stuff down for you if they can and just help you as much as they can. You just gotta be on the lookout for it.
Buzz on everything. Whoa, yeah. Buzz on everything. I swear to God, look at me.